After a car crash, Alex suffered memory loss. He remembered everyone but Sarah Tom. His closest friend who'd been staying with him for days suddenly looked worried when he realized Alex really didn't remember that name Alex. "It's just the two of us here right now. Are you trying some new reverse psychology trick to get my sister's attention?" Alex was puzzled, his eyes filled with disbelief. "No. I really don't remember. Who is she?" "You're not lying, then swear it." Faced with Tom's suspicion, Alex didn't hesitate to swear an oath. Seeing Alex so determined, Tom was thunderstruck and shook Alex's shoulders. "You really forgot everything, but left out my sister." Alex didn't see what was so shocking about it and couldn't help asking, "Who exactly is Sarah?" Tom's expression turned complicated as he began explaining. "Sarah is my sister. Remember back in the day when you came over to my place and fell for her at first sight? You chased her for 7 years." As Tom rambled on, Alex's mind went blank. "So, is she my girlfriend now?" Tom smiled awkwardly. "No. My sister was always cold toward you. She liked someone else, Mark. Her first love, who left her heartbroken. She ended up drinking herself into the hospital during their breakup, and she's never really moved on. This time she went to pick up Mark from the airport and left you stranded in the rain. That's why you ended up in a car accident and lost your memory." Tom's words left Alex speechless, and his expression became immensely complex. "So you're saying she was always cold to me, liked someone else, and even hurt me for him? Why did I have a thing for her then? Are you messing with me?" "Tom, why would I lie? Everyone knows you were head over heels for my sister." Tom shook his head, pulling out his phone and handing it to Alex. Alex took it skeptically, punching in a familiar string of numbers, but failed to unlock it. "Your password isn't your idol's birthday anymore. It's my sister's 0715. Following Tom's guidance, Alex unlocked the phone. As soon as he opened the gallery, thousands of photos of a woman flooded his screen. He stared at her until it slowly dawned on him that Tom was likely telling the truth. Sarah looked exactly like his type, but the photos were all candid shots in every image. Her eyes were cold and emotionless. The more he looked, the more uneasy he felt. He then opened the Notes app. It was filled with detailed notes about Sarah's likes, dislikes, and daily documentation of unrequited love. On the 7th, Valentine's Day, another well-rehearsed confession met with rejection. "Sarah, you said there was no future for us, but I can't let you go. You got drunk again, mistook me for him, calling his name over and over. You said you couldn't forget him, that you'd rather wait, even knowing it's hopeless. For a moment, I felt like we were the same, pathetic in love, even without memories." The pain and frustration etched in those words hit Alex hard. It felt like a stab to his heart, causing an almost endless ache. His eyes stung as if tears were about to fall. Stunned, he couldn't calm himself down. The silence in the room stretched until Tom spoke. "So what are you going to do next? Want to get more treatment? My uncle is a top psychiatrist, but he's abroad right now. If you forget it, even if I don't remember, I get the feeling liking your sister was painful. Maybe forgetting is for the best." Alex took a deep breath, lowered his head, and deleted all the photos and notes. Tom watched in shock, about to say something, when his phone rang. When the call ended, he picked up his bag and left hurriedly. "I have to head home for something, Alex. Take care. I'll drop by again." Soon the door closed with a soft thud. Just as Alex was about to rest, the phone rang. At home, Alex, remember when your dad mentioned the childhood engagement? It's been postponed for years now. Have you thought about it? His father had been braced for Alex to refuse. This call was a last attempt, but after a few moments, Alex unexpectedly agreed. "Sure, Dad. Once I sort things out here, I'll come home and honor it." His father was shocked, his voice full of surprise. You don't love your best friend's sister anymore? You insisted on staying in W City to chase her. What changed?" Alex wasn't sure how to explain the memory loss and didn't want to worry them about the accident. After pondering it over, he gave a vague, "I don't like her now and won't in the future." When the call ended, Alex estimated the time needed to wrap things up and bought a flight ticket for town for half a month later. Ticket in hand, the nurse entered to inform him of his follow-up. As he sat in the wheelchair, he unexpectedly looked up to see a familiar face. He had just seen her in the photo album. Sarah. At the sight, the icy stare in her eyes grew colder, turning glacial. "How did you know I was here? You even stalked me to the hospital." Alex hadn't expected his first encounter with Sarah post-amnesia to go like this, and her being so hostile was a shock. He paused, then replied, "You misunderstood. I wasn't stalking you. I had an accident on the highway, and I'm here to recover." Sarah frowned, about to speak, when someone emerged from the room behind them. She immediately stepped forward. "Mark, you just got over a fever. I told you to rest. Why are you up?" Hearing the name, Alex instinctively turned to see a tall man in a white shirt. Mark. Their eyes met, and Mark smiled, slightly surprised as he looked over at Sarah. The stuffy inside just needed some air. Sarah Who's this? Sarah's gaze narrowed slightly. My brother's best friend. Alex, a designer in the company's design department. Not someone I know well. Mark smiled gently, showing a warm demeanor. Alex, nice to meet you. I'm Mark. Your head's all bandaged up. Did something happen? Alex nodded. Yeah. Got into a car crash. Mild concussion. Lost my. Before he could finish, a nurse's voice called out urgently from behind. Patient from bed. Alex, it's time for your checkup. Hearing this, Alex had no time for pleasantries with people he barely remembered. After a quick goodbye to those in front of him, he hurriedly wheeled away for the checkup. But the person behind him watched this unusually detached reaction, and Sarah frowned, giving him a rare second glance. Wasn't he always all over her every time he saw her? And now, he just left so easily. After finishing some routine tests, Alex went to the pharmacy for medication. On his way through the garden downstairs, he saw the nice weather and decided to take a stroll. Just as he reached the pond, Mark came towards him, calling out Alex out. Getting some air. Too, what a coincidence. Alex was surprised to see him again, but exchanged a few polite words. Mark, quite friendly and familiar, soon offered to push his wheelchair, chatting amiably. Sarah just got a call and went off to handle something, so I'm a bit bored on my own. Why not chat for a bit? Since you're a friend of Tom's and have worked with Sarah for so long, I've got something to ask you. I heard abroad that there's been a guy chasing Sarah for 7 years. Really persistent. Do you know who he is? How does Sarah feel about him? Alex froze for a moment, then quickly regained his composure, speaking calmly. I don't know, but if someone's been chasing her for 7 years and she's still only got eyes for you, it's clear that you're the most important to her. Everyone else doesn't matter. Mark was taken aback by his certainty and then felt a bit pleased. You know about me? And Sarah, does she mention me often? Alex nodded slightly, remembering Tom mentioning how much she loved Mark. Yeah. Mark's expression brightened, joy spreading across his face. Sarah's a year ahead of me, the genius campus belle, with countless admirers, but she fell for me at first sight. She chased me for a long time before I agreed to give it a try. Once together, she pampered me in every way, would attend classes with me, go to the library together, filled the campus with roses to celebrate our anniversary. I'd get jealous for days if a girl confessed to me. We dated for 4 years. Everyone said I was the love of her life. She told me many times she'd marry me after graduation, but I didn't want to be tied down so young, had my dreams to chase. So I turned down her proposal, went abroad to further my studies. But over the years, I knew she never got over me, so I decided to come back. When the plane touched down in W City, I was a bit anxious, but when I saw her braving the rain to pick up my luggage at the airport, I knew that nothing had changed. These past few days I've been unwell, and she's been taken care of me. I sense she wants to discuss getting back together, but hasn't said anything, so I thought maybe she's interested in that guy. That's why I aimed to ask you. Alex listened quietly to his old stories, feeling no waves in his heart, but instead he smiled a little. I think since she cares so much about you, she wouldn't just casually mention getting back together. She might be planning a surprise. Hearing this, Mark felt more at ease. Just as he waved to say goodbye, he accidentally dropped his phone into the water. He instinctively bent down to retrieve it, but couldn't balance, stumbling right into the pond. Seeing him fall, Alex was stunned for a moment and quickly wheeled around to get help. But just as he turned, Sarah dashed over and without hesitation jumped in to save Mark. Mark coughed up water as he gradually started to breathe again, and Sarah's face, once full of worry, began to relax. Alex took in all her reactions, was about to call for a doctor, but she interrupted him sharply. You pushed Mark into the water on purpose and want to sneak off without helping. Alex didn't expect her to misunderstand like this. He fell while trying to pick up his phone. I didn't push him, nor did I plan on leaving him to drown. Sarah glared coldly, cutting off his words. Picking up a phone, I left for just a minute, and suddenly Mark ends up by the pond, all wet. Who else could have done it if not you? She then summoned her bodyguards, ordering them throw him in. Alex, out of respect for Tom, I tolerated your endless pestering, but Mark is my line. If you don't know your limits, you'll face the consequences. The bodyguard stepped forward, pushing Alex with his wheelchair into the pond, standing guard to prevent anyone from helping. Cold water rushed into Alex's nose and mouth, leaving him struggling to breathe. He thrashed about, his leg wound reopened, blood spreading into the water. His strength faded away, shivering in pain as he slowly sank deeper in his hazy last moments. The final thing he saw was Sarah leading Mark away. It was unclear how much time passed, but when Alex reopened his eyes, he met Tom's worried gaze. I was busy for a few hours. And how'd you end up in the pool? The doctor said if they'd pulled you out even a minute later, you might not have woken up. Scared me to death thinking about what happened. Before he blacked out, Alex went silent. He wanted to tell Tom what had happened, but stopped himself thinking about how Sarah is Tom's sister He shook his head lightly, his voice weak and tired. I'm fine. Don't worry. Tom's eyes turned red. He didn't say anything, but he stayed at the hospital for the next few days. He kept trying to bring Sarah into the conversation, as if testing Alex's thoughts. Alex, from what I know about my sister, if anyone else had confessed to her as much as you have, she would have found a way to get rid of them, but she's tolerated you all these years, which means she does have some feelings for you. She probably doesn't even realize it. Are you really going to give up on her? If he'd heard this right after waking up, Alex might have believed it, but after nearly drowning, he felt like that idea was just wishful thinking. He showed Tom the photos his colleagues sent him over the past few days, photos of Sarah shopping, eating, and going to the movies with Mark. His tone was as calm as a still pond. She put up with me because of you, Tom. If fate wants me to forget about her, then it means we aren't meant to be. Now that the guy she was waiting for is back, it's time for me to let go of something that was never going to work out. Seeing that Alex had truly moved on, Tom didn't push further. He just sighed deeply. I wished more than anyone for her to come to her senses and be with you. Then you'd be my brother-in-law, and we'd never have to part. But since you've decided to let go, I won't push anymore either. I won't meddle in her and her first love stuff again. We'll always be good buddies. Alex nodded firmly and softly pulled him into a hug. They chatted quietly for a bit more before Tom went to do the discharge paperwork and took him to the car. You've been stuck in the hospital for so long. Must be sick of it. I'll host something fun and invite people to celebrate you getting out, Tom said, thinking that this might be the last time he'd hang out with these friends. Alex didn't refuse and tagged along to the club. But when they got to the private room and pushed open the door, both of them froze. In the center sat Sarah and Mark. Tom looked shocked. Sis, why are you here? A couple of friends that helped with the invites pulled them in and explained, didn't you say you wanted a big group? So I asked Sarah to come, and she brought Mark. Is this lively enough for you? Tom stared at the speaker in disbelief. Alex knew what he was worried about, so he quickly led him aside. It's fine. They're here since I've forgotten the past. It won't make me sad, Alex assured him. With that, Tom relaxed and let him to sit down. The room was noisy all night, but the vibe stayed kind of weird. Sarah took off her coat and put it on Mark. She blocked drinks for him and fed him fruit casually. Her every move was so intimate and loving. She didn't hide her affection. Alex watched quietly. He felt a little tightness inside, but not pain. Maybe forgetting those memories was a blessing for him. Tom thought he was upset and suggested games to distract him. Alex was having a lucky streak, winning a dozen rounds before finally losing one. Everyone was shouting for him to be punished. He didn't want to do the silly game punishments, so he chose truth or dare. Suddenly, everyone's eyes were bouncing between him and Sarah, sounding super excited. Okay, tell us about the most unforgettable romance of your life. Hearing that, Alex didn't respond yet, but Sarah's face changed. She instinctively glanced at him, her eyes cold. Alex got that she was warning him not to say anything crazy about her in front of Mark, but he remembered nothing, so even if he wanted to take a penalty, he could only force out some vague words to satisfy everyone. The most unforgettable, probably my first love. I guess she was my best friend's sister, and I think it was love at first sight. I wrote stacks of love letters and printed albums of candid photos. Everyone knew how much I was into her, but she didn't like me back. He said this with an open smile, but the room fell silent. Mark, who'd been watching, quietly sensed something and grabbed Sarah's hand. Sarah's heart skipped, gripping his hand tightly and denying it. There's nothing between us from start to finish. It was all just his one-sided wishful thinking. Each word from her was decisive, leaving no room for doubt. She didn't stick around, just grabbed Mark and left with everyone watching. Eyes on them were full of sympathy and pity. Tom, who had been silent, couldn't hold it any longer and rushed out. Alex realized what he was about to do and quickly followed him. He caught up with them in the garage, where the siblings were arguing. Alex is my good friend. Why did you have to humiliate him in front of everyone? Tom demanded. He's liked you for so long. Can't you just be nice to him for all he's done? I put up with him for 7 years and only turned him down gently. Because of you, isn't that nice enough? She snapped back. His affection just annoys me a lot. Tom was almost shouting, losing his cool. Don't worry. He'll never like you again, especially after you left him stranded in the middle of nowhere. He got into a car accident and a concussion. Because of that, I only drove him home. Because of you, what's wrong with leaving him halfway? Even with the accident, if I had to do it all over again, I'd choose Mark every single time. If he's still bitter about that, tell him to stay away from me. The sound of a car doors slamming shut came from a distance. Alex didn't want them to notice he'd overheard the argument, so he quietly left back home alone. He looked around the house, then he gathered everything he had collected over the years related to Sarah, and tossed it all in the trash. He spent the whole weekend packing up his stuff. On Monday, Alex went to work and handed in his resignation to HR. They were surprised. "Aren't you still on leave? Because of the accident I heard Sarah was considering promoting you to head of design. Why are you quitting all of a sudden?" According to Tom, Alex joined in-group's design department after graduation, just to be near Sarah. 3 years of hard work, hoping to stand beside her openly. But now he couldn't remember her or how he felt about her. So he just smiled softly at the hesitant HR officer. "I want to go back home for good." HR didn't push him anymore and handed over the stamped resignation form. "All right, I'll get Sarah to sign off on this, and you'll be done." After leaving HR, Alex was called over by his coworkers. "Sarah just called a meeting for the design department. Think she's announcing the new director. It's about to start. Join us. Will you?" Alex nodded and followed them to the meeting room. On the way, his colleagues congratulated him with smiles. "Alex, you've been in the department for 3 years, worked on so many big projects, and even won several international awards. You totally deserve to be director." "Yep, with all your success and Sarah appreciating you so much, we'd fully support you getting it. When the good news is official, you gotta treat us to dinner tonight." He knew they were genuine. He wanted to share his plan to leave, but since Sarah hadn't signed yet, he figured he'd break the news at dinner. "Being director doesn't matter much now. Dinner's on me. Got something to share." Two chatting all the way, they reached the conference room. Alex picked a corner seat. Once everyone arrived, Sarah walked in right on time, scanning the room before diving straight in. "Rumors are going around. Yes, this meeting is about announcing the new head of design. Speak up if you've got thoughts." I turned to Alex. He wanted to stop the announcement before it was too late. After a pause, he looked at Sarah's calm eyes, took a deep breath, and stood up. "Sarah, I'm grateful for all the trust you've placed in me over the years, letting me handle so many projects with our team. While I don't know who you've chosen as director, I'd like to vouch." Before he could finish saying volunteer to withdraw, Sarah interrupted him. "With 10 designers here, yours are deeper than the others, Alex, but your experience is lacking, so I've decided to bring in someone with rich experience and expertise for this role." Everyone was shocked. Alex was frozen in place. Then Sarah's voice cut through the silence. "Let me introduce the new head of design, Mark." With a bang, the door flew open and Mark walked in with a smile for his introduction. "Hi, I'm Mark, a doctoral student from Milan Design School and a winner of the European Youth Design Award." The room went silent. Everyone glanced around, faces puzzled. Why? Because several designers already had those awards, and with Mark having no work experience, being parachuted into the position was hard to accept, especially for the veterans who'd been here for nearly 5 years. They couldn't help but speak up. "Sarah, we all agree that Mark is lacking some experience. He needs a couple more years before he's ready to be a director. On the flip side, Alex seems more suitable for the role," someone said, and the other design team members nodded in agreement. Mark's face fell, and he looked at Sarah with a hint of grievance. Seeing his disappointment, Sarah's expression showed a flicker of displeasure. Then her gaze shifted to Alex, turning sharp and icy. "Mark graduated from a prestigious school with countless international awards. In terms of vision and capability, he's in a different league compared to Alex. Sure, Alex has handled many projects, but that's due to the solid support of the design team. Even if I hand everything over to Mark, he would deliver perfectly, maybe even better, so the position of director should go to Mark. No discussion needed." Alex, despite having no lingering feelings for her, felt his face turn pale with embarrassment as she publicly made such a biting remark. With that, Sarah ended the meeting and quickly left with Mark outside. A person from HR who had been waiting immediately handed over Alex's resignation letter for her review and signature. "Sarah, here's a resignation notice that needs your signature." Sarah's eyes were cold as she signed without even a glance. As she walked away with Mark, the design team members crowded around Alex, offering comfort, but Alex was calm. He smiled, clutching the signed agreement tightly. "The director spot isn't what's important, because I've already planned to resign. Sarah just signed off my resignation. Today is my last day here. Take care. Everyone here's to hoping we'll meet again." Hearing his goodbye shocked everyone, and they were reluctant to see him leave. Some wanted to convince Sarah to reconsider the decision, yet Alex shook his head with a smile, thanked everyone, and returned to his office to pack up after work. He treated the colleagues to a meal, saying farewell amidst a wistful atmosphere. Back home, he contacted a realtor to list his apartment at the lowest price, and it sold the next day. After completing the transfer papers, he arranged with the buyer to move out in 2 days. After wrapping everything up, he received a call from Tom. "Alex, my birthday's tomorrow. You haven't forgotten, right? I've been waiting for your gift. How could I forget your birthday? I've got your gift ready." and will deliver it tomorrow. Not only did Alex prepare the gift, but he also planned to tell Tom about his departure usually. He would arrive early at the party to spend more time with Sarah, but this time he hailed a cab halfway through the event, as usual. The celebration was at Sarah's family home. Alex knew the place inside out, having visited countless times. He sneaked in through the back door in the hall. Tom was surrounded by a crowd basking in happiness while blowing out the candles. Sarah's parents stood to his left with smiles on their faces. Sarah stood to his right, accompanied by Mark, looking every bit like a family. Alex watched from afar and overheard the household staff whispering, "Sarah and Mark broke up so many years ago. I thought they were done." Who knew they'd find their way back to each other? Right, that friend of Tom's chased Sarah for years without winning her over. Sarah's fondness for Mark must run deep. For years, the parents have nudged her about marriage, but she always brushed it off. Now she's bringing him home. Could be a sign that something big is brewing. Alex had moved on from the past with Sarah, deciding to let it all go. Who she liked or might marry no longer mattered to him. So listening to these words didn't stir any emotion in him. He stayed quietly until the birthday song ended, then looked up to meet Sarah's eyes. Seeing him, she furrowed her brows and whispered something to Tom, who then stepped out of the crowd. Alex hugged him lightly, handing over the birthday gift with a smile, wishing him a happy birthday. Tom, who had been waiting for him, tried to bring Alex in for some cake, but Alex shook his head. "It's too noisy and crowded. I'll skip it. You go ahead, I'll wait in your room. Need to talk to you later." Tom, worried seeing Sarah would upset Alex, agreed. Alex weaved through the crowd to Tom's third-floor room. He settled on the sofa, feeling a bit sleepy, and dozed off for a short. While awakened by the sound of the door, he thought it was Tom returning, but opening his eyes, he saw Mark instead. Mark looked back with a hard gaze, his tone unfriendly. "I thought you said you'd given up. Why do you keep showing up in front of Sarah? Let me tell you, she only has eyes for me. No matter how much of a show you put on, she won't like you. You'll never beat me." Stunned by his approach, Alex took a moment before responding, "I'm just here to give Tom his birthday gift. I'm leaving soon." Hearing this, Mark's guard didn't lower. Instead, his disdain intensified. Over the years, clinging desperately to Sarah was pathetic. "Have some shame, isn't it all? Because you play on Tom's good nature with such an uninspiring brother, always siding with outsiders. No wonder Sarah has a hard life." Alex didn't take Mark's insults personally, but the moment he brought Tom into it, Alex's eyes turned cold. "Does Sarah know you talk this way about her own brother?" Behind her back, Mark sneered, "Sarah cherishes me. So what if I say it anyway? You and Tom are a pair of shameless jerks. Did I hit a nerve with the truth? You're angry because I exposed your secrets, aren't you? 7 years ago, your abrupt breakup and departure almost broke Sarah." Tom felt for his sister, but he never said a bad word about you. Now you want to weasel back into Sarah's life, yet trash Tom, who's really the despicable one here. Surprised by Alex's retort, Mark's fury boiled over, and he threw a punch. Alex dodged to the side and retaliated with a punch of his own. Mark, holding his face, eyes burning with rage, lunged back at him, and they began to tussle. Alex grabbed his collar and fought back desperately. In their struggle, they knocked over the scented candle on the table. The flame ignited the bedsheets, then the carpet, and quickly escalated into a raging fire. Smoke filled the air. By the time they noticed, the entire room was engulfed in flames. Alex tried to reach the door, but Mark shoved him into the fire. The searing flames licked his skin, causing unbearable pain and making him tremble all over. He struggled to put out the fire on him and saw the bedroom door burst open. Sarah rushed in, half a meter away, but her eyes only skimmed Alex briefly. They then locked onto Mark, and she ran towards him, wrapping him protectively in her arms. Smoke choked Alex. Weakening his breath, he lifted his burned hands and grasped Sarah's leg, but she merely glanced down, pulled away, and walked off quickly, watching her vanish in the smoke. Alex lost consciousness. Alex didn't think he would survive. When he opened his eyes again, he saw Tom, whose eyes were red from crying. "Alex, thank goodness you're okay. If something happened to you, I'd feel guilty forever. Does your wound hurt? Don't worry. I found the best doctors for you. They won't let you scar." Alex responded, "It's just a small wound. I'm fine. Tom, you don't need to feel guilty or worry." Despite the unbearable pain in his hands, Alex gritted his teeth and hugged him. "There's something I wanted to tell you yesterday. It may be a bit late now, but don't blame me for it. I've decided to head back to H-Town this afternoon. There's an arranged marriage, and they're pushing for the wedding. I've already bought the ticket. Could you see me off this one last time?" Tom was shocked by his sudden departure, and tears started flowing again. "What? You're leaving all of a sudden and getting married? Does that mean you're never coming back? What if I miss you?" Alex sighed and gently comforted him until he calmed down. They shared many heartfelt words before Tom reluctantly went to handle the discharge paperwork. Alex Enduring the pain, had just changed his clothes when Sarah entered the hospital room with a cold expression. You attacked Mark and tried to burn him, didn't you? Alex felt nothing seeing her again and replied coldly, he told you that. So you believe it without evidence? Yes, no matter what Mark says, I'll believe him unconditionally, without any evidence needed. Sarah wouldn't even give him the chance to explain. Seeing her icy gaze, Alex knew any explanation would fall on deaf ears. He smiled silently. So why are you here now? I'm here to make you apologize to Mark. Sarah grabbed his injured hand to drag him off to apologize. Alex's wound bled and new tears of pain welled up, but he bit them back, struggling to break free. The next moment, Tom, returning, saw this and immediately shielded Alex. Sarah's voice was unyielding. Move. He must apologize to Mark today. No way. I'm sure Alex did nothing wrong. You're biased towards Mark, but there's a camera in my room. Everything that happened yesterday is on record. If you want an apology, you'll have to wait until after we see the footage. Tom stood firm. Sarah, furious, was about to respond when a message from Mark came through. She glanced at it, swallowed her anger, and left. We'll check the footage tonight when the evidence is irrefutable. Let's see what you have to say. As Sarah slammed the door, the room quieted down. Tom treated Alex's wound, apologizing profusely. Alex gently shook his head and wiped away his tears. Tom, you don't need to apologize because we're not the ones who did wrong. I'm about to leave. Promise me you'll take care of yourself. Tom nodded, earnestly accompanying him to grab his luggage and seeing him off to the airport. As the announcement called for boarding to H-Town, Alex gave Tom one last hug and turned to enter the gate. Once on the plane, he deleted every contact related to Sarah. Tom's last message popped. Alex, be happy once you get home. Don't worry, I'll uncover the truth tonight and clear your name. Alex smiled, looking at the screen as it darkened, and shifted his gaze to the clouds outside. For him, the truth and justice didn't matter anymore. Sarah, along with all the pain she brought, vanished from his memory. He'd leave it all behind forever. Alex dragged his suitcase, exhausted, to the door. He hid his bandaged hand under his sleeve before knocking. Who is it? His father asked from inside. When Alex's father opened the door and saw him, he was shocked. Alex, you're really back? I thought you were kidding. He turned, calling inside. Hey, Jane, Alex is here. What? Alex is really back. His mother stood up and hurried to the door. She took Alex's suitcase inside, while his father wrapped an arm around Alex, pulling him in. You actually came back. What about Sarah? Before his dad could finish, Alex, Dad, I was in a car accident and lost my memory. I don't remember anything about her. Hearing about the accident, his mom immediately wanted to take Alex for a checkup, not wanting them to see his injuries. Alex quickly said, I'm okay. No need to worry. I just misjudged people before, loved someone I shouldn't have for years now. The accident is like karma. As for the arranged marriage you talked about, I never wanted it before, but since I'm back, I'll meet the girl. When they heard this, Alex's parents suddenly let out a chuckle and then tenderly pulled Alex into their arms. Silly. There's no arranged marriage. We saw how you were always clinging on to your best friend's older sister without any results, so we teased you. You're free to be with whoever you want. We won't force you. But that friend's sister is not right for you. You've given so much to her for so many years without any response that will only exhaust you. Hearing those loving words from his parents made Alex's eyes well up with tears, and he hugged them tightly again. Yeah, I know, Mom and Dad, maybe this time losing my memory was a blessing in disguise. I'm not going to like her anymore. Alex spent 2 happy days at home and decided to start anew. He sent out several resumes and successfully got an interview with M Group. Dad, I have an interview this afternoon. I'm heading out. Alex called towards the kitchen while changing his shoes. Alex's mom poked her head out and said with concern, be careful and stay safe. Standing outside M Group, Alex noticed he had some extra time, so he decided to grab a coffee. Customer 627. Your order is ready. Alex went to the counter to get his coffee, but accidentally bumped into another woman's hand. Sorry. Alex quickly apologized, retracting his hand. He checked the receipt and realized it was number 627. Confused, he looked up at the woman, who was also looking at him. The woman shook her coffee and explained, mine says 626, probably a mix-up by the staff. Just then the employee handed him another cup and apologized. Sorry, sir, I called the wrong number earlier. Here's your coffee. Alex took the coffee and waved it off with a smile. No problem. Hi, I'm Mia, said the woman, stopping Alex and offering her hand. I work here too. We might be colleagues soon. Hearing that, Alex shook her hand and replied, Hi, I'm Alex. Mia found Alex's name familiar, but didn't dwell on it. Hope your interview goes well. See you later. Little did they know how soon later would be. When Alex walked into the conference room with his resume, he was surprised to see Mia sitting in the middle. He was so taken aback that he forgot to introduce himself. Mia buried in her phone. Noticed the long silence, looked up, and found it was Alex.